Welcome to the Shuffle Curious podcast. I'm your host, Patty Lynch. Have you ever seen an amazing shuffler at a show or festival and wondered, how did they get started? How did they develop their skills? And who are they beyond the dance floor? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring in the show. We'll dive into the personal experiences of the dancers that make up our beloved community. We'll be learning more about who they are and what makes this dance so special to them. So, with that, let's jump into the show and let's get curious together. Hello to the Shuffle Curious community out there. This is episode 17 of the Shuffle Curious podcast. And in this episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with my friend, Jorge. And I loved having the time to speak with him because Jorge has been a very pivotal individual in my shuffle journey, teaching me how to rock, teaching me how to reverse T-step, different concepts with and variations with rocking and just T-stepping in general. Has really helped me out and has allowed me to find my own flow. So I thank him for that. And he's a fellow shuffling crackhead. We probably spoke for over 2 hours, and the man had a lot to say. And it's funny because if you know Jorge, he's very much like a shy and reserved kind of guy until you start talking about shuffling. So he's been doing it for over 12 years. He walked us through his origin stories, starting with the crew that he made in middle school, actually called the Mile High Shufflers. And, but from that point, he was kind of a lone wolf, kind of doing his own thing, labbing and seshing on his own until he found the Mile High Shufflers as we know it today and kind of found his little tribe here in Denver. But throughout his journey, he's gone through some trials and tribulations. He's gone through a health, fitness, and weight loss journey throughout. He's also most recently injured himself, which has put him more into a hiatus and has stopped him from dancing for an extended period of time, which he talked about, at length. And so I think that, with anyone experiencing injuries, this would be very valuable to listen to. And just to know that there's some light at the end of the tunnel and to really just focus on physical therapy and the mindset behind, not dancing and kind of taking that time to rest. And I think Jorge kind of articulated that pretty well, and just, how he kind of stayed sane throughout all of this. So I really enjoyed hearing his story and just kind of how he's overcome a lot of these rigors. And so I think this will be very valuable to all you guys. So with that, this is my conversation with Jorge. I hope you guys enjoy. Jorge, what's up, man?
What's up, bro?
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. All is well. It's really exciting to have you on the podcast. This has been a little bit of time before, like we planned the thing and then we're doing the thing. So highly anticipated, conversation that we're going to have, because I have not heard, all of your story. I've gotten it in bits and pieces, and I've kind of, piecemealed them all together. But I think there's definitely a lot of gaps in there. Yeah, so sure. it'll be really cool to hear you just articulate it, from the get-go. So, and dude, you've been a very influential and key characters in my shuffle journey. And I think that all really started when I first met you at my first meetup here. When I first got to Denver, the first meetup that I attended was in August of 2021. And, I'd been following the page, as many people might know, like a lot of the homies that I've interviewed, like I knew them by the page, before I ever got any face-to-face interaction with them. So you were one of the people who when I first met you at that Cheeseman meetup, it was like meeting a superhero. You know what I mean? Because I've been seeing you on the page. I'd seen your personal Instagram profile and things like that. So I knew that you were one of the people that I wanted to connect with. Like I really vibed with like your style and everything like that. I didn't even know what it was like called or like like getting your high knees up and rocking
Yeah.
and things like that. Like I didn't really know much about any of it. So, but I knew that I was getting a glimpse of what I wanted my style to look like, you know? And so seeing you and having it be one of the first people that I wanted to emulate, it was important for me to want to connect with you. So I remember just rolling up to the meetup and a little bit starstruck with everyone, but like you in particular. I was just like, oh shoot, like this is the man in flesh. And but like you exceeded all expectations. You were super humble. You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, a little shy. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Like your vibe check in, of course. You know, as we all do. So, but it was a very genuine, just like meeting, and it's not like we became best friends right there. It's like it's a slow burn. You know what I mean? Sure. Like you probably had to see me around here and there to really get acquainted with me, but. You know, I was grooving, doing my thing. So like, hopefully you appreciated that aspect of it. But, you know, I think how we developed our relationship over time was just, number one, me coming out and like going to all the shows that you were attending as well. And I continue to ask you a lot of questions about your style and to get little tidbits when we were seshing and just kind of like picking your brain. And eventually that led me to, because I was getting a bunch of feedback from you and then like our friend Paulina as well, about like reverse T-stepping and like how that goes into a rock and like how rocking is like super pivotal in your shuffle journey, because like it now gives you more of that essence of like floating on a floor than just the Running Man itself or like your basic T-step. And so I started to get really curious about that. And like, even when I would approach you about it during our just like seshing, like I didn't want to like pick your brain for like too long or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get a class with him. Like I want a one-on-one lesson. So you give me like your individualized attention. And that was the best thing for me. I remember like we went to the fountains at Cheeseman Park and we just sat there for like an hour and a half, just drilling, rocking like that sequence. You know what I mean? The back step, front step, side step, switch, you know? And slowly but surely I was like getting it. Didn't look good. You know, it didn't look good. And then incorporating the reverse T step with it as well. But like you taught me how to rock. And if anyone kind of like sees my style, it's very rock oriented. You know what I mean?
You can't stop doing
it's like that's my pattern that like for better or for worse I always return to, but it's fun because you can add variations to it and stuff. So like you were a part of that, a key piece in my journey that I think gave me a lot of inspiration to keep moving forward, because like when I found that a subset of, you know, movements, it just opened so many more doors for me. So thank you for that.
Of course.
I appreciate it, man.
But, well, I wanted to say first and foremost, thank you for having me on.
You got it. You got it.
Grateful to be in this position right now. But to add on to what you were just talking about of how we met.
Lay it on me.
Oh, so this is how I remember it. So I seen you at Cheeseman for that meetup, and I was like, "Who is this guy? I've never seen him before."
Intruder.
So I don't remember exactly who went up to who first. I think it was you that came up to me.
I think so.
And all I remember you saying was that I remember seeing you on Instagram on one of the MHS pages, and on the MHS page, and you're just saying like you're just praising me, I guess, for like my style, like my Running Man, like how I'm able to move how I do, being a big guy. But yeah, it's like after that, you just kept coming. You just kept showing up. You kept showing up to the meetups, to shows, everything like that. And then one day you just came up to me, and then you asked me for that lesson. And I just remember you drenched in sweat, man. Like for me just drilling you with those from the rock. And then from seeing you now, like you incorporated it amazingly. Like that's like what you're known for now. You're having a clean rock and like that like steezy style. Yeah. So like it's like you're not even trying. So
thank you,
good
dude.
to see you, bro. Good to see you like doing your thing.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah, no
appreciate that, man. Yeah, because I do feel like some shufflers might have some rough bouts, and then they might disappear off the face of the earth. So I know that feeling when you meet someone new and you really vibe with them, and then they go away or they disappear for a little bit. And you're like, man, I was really connecting with them. So it's nice when you get a homie that comes through and then stays, and you can continue to build that relationship with them.
When you like went out of your way to like make sure like you felt included into everything, and you wanted to meet everybody, and like you like did your part, and now everybody knows you, and you just connect with everybody, and you're like a key part of this group now.
Thank you, dude. That does mean a lot. Yeah, it's been a slow burn. It's been a slow burn for sure. It doesn't happen overnight, but this group was important enough to me to put in the effort to really connect. And then that is now extending outside of this group. You know what I mean? Like you guys are home base for me for 100%. But like now I'm a part of a crew. I'm a part of Sideshow Shufflers. Like I wanna connect with them as well. I want to connect with like the greater shuffle community as well. And like this is a part of it too.
You like gone out of your way to like visit other states too. You've been to Washington, Cali?
Yeah, Washington, Cali, Philly, New York, Florida.
Yeah. You've gone all over the United States already.
Yeah, I was just in Las Vegas and connected with some of the Las Vegas shufflers. Yeah, it's so much fun, dude. It's so much fun. Because like wherever you go, if you have this skill set and you are a part of this lifestyle, you have so much relatability to one another, and you can always share that with someone else, because even if it's just the dance, you can connect with them, but it's usually more than that, right? It's like the love for the music that comes with that. It's the same experiences that you've had, whether it be at the same show or different shows. Like they both have similarities to them, and you can 100%. Always connect with someone. And then on top of that, it's like then you meet someone who like maybe they're into lifting weights, or maybe they're into like just some other interest or metal music or things like that. And then you can even connect with them further on there. But like it starts with the dance, so it's really an amazing tool just to have outside of the technicalities. You know what I mean? It just with connecting with other people, and I think that's why I've stayed so long. I think that's why you've stayed so long as well.
It ultimately comes down to like the love of the music, because before I ever started dancing, I was into like what everybody knows now, trance. I was into trance.
Trance head over here.
I got into trance, progressive house, and then like honestly, I didn't get into techno until like the later. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all of that.
I mean, like, are you really into trance if you haven't gone to Dream State though? Shots fired.
You're gonna do me like that? I'm gonna go this year.
You're in our Airbnb, bro.
I'm going.
You're in our Airbnb like swimwear.
Whether like my injury prevents it or not, I'm going.
Got it. And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, later.
The injury. But let's get into your background a little bit. Right. So if you could just tell us like where you're from originally, how long have you been shuffling for, and how were you as a kid?
All right. So I was actually born in Anaheim, California. I didn't move to Colorado until I was about 9 years old. Yeah. But I didn't get... Well, I got into shuffling at a very young age. I started when 2011. I think I was like 12 years old or something like that. But I've been shuffling for 12 years now. And oh my God, there's so much I want to explain.
We'll get to it. How were you as a kid?
I felt like I was a pretty active kid. I was like into soccer. I played basketball. Did a bunch of stuff, honestly. But soccer I was pretty into, but I never got like super hooked on it to the point where I like joined teams and stuff like that. I would just like do it by myself or at school with like a bunch of friends. But Yeah, that's as a kid I didn't really do much. I was just focused on school, and then got home, played video games. And that's pretty much it.
Got it.
And then how I got into shuffling, right?
Well, was there any other resemblance of a life before shuffling, or was it pretty like mundane, or I don't know,
I was just
like
a pretty normal kid, to be honest. I just like went outside, hung out with friends when I could, because I like got raised in a Mexican household where they were like pretty strict. So when I could go out, I would take full advantage of it and like do whatever I could.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I would most of the time just hang out with friends, play some sports. Just nothing really interesting because I was still a kid. I didn't really do many
I forget. You really did start super early.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was in middle school.
Yeah, and you're 23 now, right?
Bro, I just turned 25.
You turned 25?
Yeah, I just turned 25.
You look like you're 23.
I'm not that young.
Not a day over 23. Got it. So, was there anything that was like priming you during that time to like look into shuffling? You know, like was it the music that you were listening to at the time, or that you were discovering, or just maybe like a physical outlet that you wanted to express yourself to the music?
So
you know what I mean?
At the time, I was only listening to like reggaeton and like rap. I would just listen to that. I would listen to rap music. I was barely starting to get into rock and like metal.
Yeah.
So I only knew like Linkin Park at the time.
Hey, they're hard.
Yeah,
like, they're hard.
Linkin Park and like all like the like All Time Low, Sleeping with Sirens, those kind of bands. I was like starting to get into those, but it really like the way I got into electronic music was like random because well, not really random, but all of my cousins at the time were like going to raves and like a lot of the time would play like Sirius XM like radio on the TV, and like they would play electronic music. And the first song that I can honestly remember listening to like that was electronic was Ghost and Stuff by Deadmau5.
Oh,
and
nice,
like,
nice.
I was like, this is fun. This is like bouncy. I liked it.
Your vibe.
And then like after that, I just like kept whenever they would play that stuff and they would say the names of the tracks, I would just like save them onto the computer and like search them up through the little laptop we had, and like I would just save them on there. And that was like 2 years before I actually started dancing.
Okay.
So the way that like primed me to go into shuffling, it was random. One day I got home from school and like I was asking everybody where like my brother was at, and they said he was in the garage. I was like, why is he in the garage? And then I opened the door and all I could see him doing is like doing the Running Man T-step. And then I asked him, what is he doing? I'm like, what is that? And then he said, it's called shuffling. And at the time,
you were like, lame.
Exactly. I was like talking shit. I was saying it was the reverse jerk. I was like, this looks whack.
Yeah.
And then like,
well, if he was just learning, he probably wasn't doing it well. You know what I mean?
And and like a couple of days later, I searched it up on the computer, and it was like I was seeing like these like hard style compilations, Moon Boy, all these things, and I was like, this looks sick. Like when someone good was doing it.
In comparison,
when someone like that had been doing it way longer was doing it, it looked sick. So I asked my brother if he could teach me, and he straight up said no.
Yeah, he's like, you're making fun of me?
Yeah. Like, and now you want to learn? Like, and I ain't going to teach you anything. But so the second best thing, searched it on YouTube, shuffle tutorials. And after that, I learned the Running Man T-step to get more like in like describe it more. It took me like, honestly, I got it pretty quickly. It didn't take me too long to
like the fundamentals.
Yeah, the fundamentals, but they didn't look good.
Yeah,
but I learned them pretty quickly, and this was like in like the end of 2010. But like I don't like really the way I base it off like how long I've been dancing for is from my first video, and then I just do that till now.
Okay.
It's weird, I know, but like
that was your first showcase.
Yeah,
of
that was my
skills.
first showcase,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
nobody knew I did it.
Got it.
So yeah, that's when I started picking it up. And then like I had like my little iPod Touch, had my headphones connected to it.
The clip on, like the little is that the Touch?
I think that was the shuffle.
Oh,
I did have one of those though.
Got it.
I had
Got
like, my
it.
little
It held
iPod
like
Touch.
50 songs or some shit.
Yeah, but like it was harder back then to like do all that stuff because sometimes I didn't have headphones, and like at the time my iPod didn't have a speaker, so I couldn't even play it out loud. And it was weird, but I got it. It was like I latched onto it pretty hard.
Got it.
Yeah, it was. Just how do I explain it? I never really had something like that.
Yeah.
Like I got super into, so
like an interest or a hobby that was like it really turned you on to like the prospect of getting better and
100%.
things like that.
Like I had soccer and everything, but like I never really latched on too hard into that because I always thought I sucked.
Got it.
But that was the first thing that like, I feel like I can get pretty good at this. So
why do you think that is? Because like where my head goes to, because you were very much like a closet shuffler for the longest time, right? Like you were doing it just on your own, practicing and stuff like that. I was in a similar situation, and I felt in my own shuffle sessions, I would be able to see progress with just me from day to day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then things became like slightly discouraging when I would see other people and like how fast they were progressing and things like that. I was much happier just looking at my own progress day by day versus having any other inputs, at least when I was first starting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was a point where I was getting a little bit discouraged. Like, why doesn't my running man look like that? Why doesn't my T-step look like that? When I didn't even know how to rock, I was like, how are they doing that? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So is that something similar for you? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like with soccer, like you're seeing everyone else on the field doing their thing, and like you can draw quick comparisons about skill sets between one another. But do you think it kind of protected you by just doing shuffling on your own for the longest time and seeing yourself progress? So
when it comes to that, I feel I'm very hard on myself when it comes to like things like that now, but like back then when it came to soccer, I always thought I was pretty bad at it. But when I would play around my friends, they would say I was really good.
Oh, okay.
So like I always put that pressure on myself without even knowing how good I was in comparison to everyone else.
Got it.
But when it came to shuffling, I think the fact that I didn't have anyone to like compare myself to besides the YouTube videos and the fact that I was still a kid, it made it so much easier because I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really care that what people said at the time because I just like I was enjoying my time. I was like I learned something new and I just wanted to keep doing it.
Yeah, and you had like the luxury of time. Like you're a kid, you've got a lot of time to like progress at this if you wanted to and things of that nature. So that probably was a little bit of pressure off your back. You know what I mean?
But like when so here's a little story. So when I was at the middle school I was going to, I wouldn't even pay attention to the teacher sometimes. And we had our like little laptops out. So I would go on YouTube in search of these shuffle compilations. And one day there was this other guy that just like, he was like super tall like me. And he was walking by and he was like, "Is that shuffling?" And I was like, "No way, this guy knows this stuff." And like, he told me that he was super into the music. He was like, he got into it because of like all the music and stuff like that. He would see. He had like gone to like shows. Like we were still in middle school. I don't know how he got in. He would. He knew how to shuffle, and he knew like tectonic and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it was weird. So one day it was like it was like the last month of school, and like the teacher said we could do whatever we want. So someone, he wanted to see me shuffle because I was like a super shy kid back in the day, and like I wouldn't show anybody this. And then he went in first, and I was like, oh shit, he's actually pretty good. And then like he wanted me to go in, but I was like super shy. I didn't want to, and I just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I gotta lose? And then like I just did it. And then like at the time it was like, this was before, let me clarify, this is before Party Rock Anthem came out.
Oh, okay.
The LMFAO song.
Yeah.
This was like a couple months before that happened. So nobody knew about shuffling at the time. So like everyone was like super fascinated into like, what is this? And then
it wasn't mainstream.
It wasn't mainstream or anything at the time. And then like people like wanted to learn. Like I just sent them the YouTube link. Like I didn't know how to teach anybody at the time. So like after that, like later that lunch, like we would go outside and they had us. They were calling me over because they had a circle going, and there's these jerkers there. Like, you guys should go shuffle. Like, and like, I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. And then I pretty much got forced into it. And then I got like a bunch of cheers, and I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, nobody knew who I was before this, and now like so many people want to see me dance. It was crazy.
That is cool. It's funny that you mentioned that because I saw a lot of when I was beginning to shuffle. I was watching like shufflers and shuffler versus jerkers or whatever, those battles that used to go down, like and people. So funny. I always lean towards the shufflers, of course, because like I like the aesthetic better. But some of the jerkers like were pretty cool with like the pin drops and like all that stuff.
It was sick.
Yeah, but I love that you said that about that. That anecdote that you gave just with the class, and then you guys just jumped in even though you were very shy and like timid about doing it. After the fact, a bunch of people were like, I want to learn, you know what I mean? I want to learn, like, why were you hiding this from us, essentially? And I think that's a really important thing to just keep in mind when you're feeling like even like the most experienced I think shufflers can feel this way. Like maybe they feel out of place for any given reason, whether they're at a show or like a sesh or whatever else, and they might just feel timid. Maybe they're just a shy person in general. But like you never know who you might inspire. You know what I mean? Like by just going after it and like doing the thing. Like there might be an onlooker that is just, even though you think you suck at the moment, or like you think like everyone has a critical eye on you, you don't know that for sure. You know what I mean? And I think even if everyone has a critical eye on you, except for one person, and you inspired them, that was worth it. You know what I mean? That was worth to like jump in and like do the thing and inspire at least that one person, or just to get people, give people a chance to have the fruits of learning shuffling and going through this journey, because it provides a lot of value, I think, to a lot of individuals. And so by you being too critical of yourself, and I've done it myself. Like there's been times that I didn't jump into the circle, and because it was just like my own mental barriers, but like I probably let up an opportunity perhaps for someone to see me and be like, wow, I aspire to have that style, or I aspire to shuffle now, or whatever else, or like now I have permission to go and talk to this person, or whatever else, and compliment them and start a conversation. I mean,
honestly, at the time, that was probably one of the last things on my mind. But like now that I look back at it, I look back at that, I'm just like, oh, maybe this helped some other person out that maybe might shuffle and I didn't know, and wanted to learn, and maybe that was a step that they needed for them to learn. But at the time, I was just like, damn, it was in my own head. I don't even know what's going on. I mean, like when you're a middle schooler, like the world revolves around you in a very, I'd say self-centered way. Like you think very critical of yourself because you're still navigating adolescence, and then like you're figuring out adulthood, you know what I mean, what's to come and everything like that. I'm thinking at the time was like, what's for lunch that day?
Is it gym class yet, or
like that's all I thought about. But this was in 7th grade, so at the time I was just a Melbourne shuffler. I was like super into hardstyle. And then one day, so I wasn't the only one shuffling in my family. My brother stopped, but the other person he inspired to dance was one of my cousins. So, and we both went to that same middle school, so we would like talk about shuffling all the time. And so, the summer transitioning from 7th to 8th grade, he showed me a video of these two guys.
And how long were you shuffling at this time?
I was like going on a year.
Okay.
I think I was going on a year now.
Got it.
And so he showed me this video of these two guys doing a choreography together. And I think the video was called KTD Blood Brothers. And these two guys were like doing this insane choreo together. And they had their own little solo parts in that video. So
it's like a choreo / cypher type thing.
Pretty much, yeah. But I was like, this doesn't look like hardstyle. This is completely different. And then I click on their channel, and then they have all these videos. And later to find out, it was Cali style. I didn't know what it was called at the time because they didn't name it until like later on in the years. But I was hooked from that one video. I was like, I need to learn how to do this. So at the time, they called it Malaysian shuffling because they were just
that was the influence.
That was the influence, but it like looked a little different. But that's what they based it off of. So I searched up how to Malaysian shuffle on YouTube, and there's these dude like dressed in like their little like flannels, cargo shorts, long socks and bands, like the little Cali swag stuff.
Got it.
But yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just that Running Man. It hooked me. It like I was hooked right there and then. So I searched up the video, and I think like after like a week, I had somewhat of a Cali style Running Man. But that's the only thing I like took away from Cali style. I just kept my T-steps the same as how I did. And all I added to it was the big Running Man and just like combos that I would see people do.
What's like the main differentiator of, a Cali style Running Man versus any other kind of Running Man? Just like high knees, drop your hips like into it?
I would say high knees, drop your hips, and add like a lot of power to it. Got it. Pretty much.
Got it. Yeah, are you hitting your heel or are you hitting your whole foot as you bring down?
I hit my particular style, but I haven't done it in months. But
yeah.
I used to drop my whole foot.
Okay.
But I would like put most of my weight on like
the back, like towards your heel?
Just like towards the ball of my foot. So like towards the middle, I guess.
Okay, got it.
That's what I would consider a Cali style Running Man. Just like really high knees, drop your hips into it, and then add a bunch of power to it.
Yeah.
That's what gives it like that.
Dude, I see it. You stomp the ground for sure when you're getting after it. No, it's cool to see you finding your style like after a year, because I think that's typically a time where people have gone through the fundamentals. They're trying to like really figure it out, and that you had that like divine moment where you're like, that's what I want to emulate. That's what I want to figure out. Was there any other styles that like kind of influenced you during that time, or were you all about Cali style at that time? Like, were you looking at Mas or anything like that?
I honestly didn't even know about Mas at the time because that's what I thought Mas was, because it's Malaysian shuffling.
It's a little similar, you know what I mean? Like I know that they do a lot of like the Mas kicks and stuff like that with the Cali style, at least from what I've seen. But
like at the time it was called Malaysian shuffling, so I thought I was doing Mas that whole time.
Okay,
and then like that's what happened. But like I didn't know what it was actually called till years later. But in the midst of all that, that's when Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO came out. So like the shuffle craze was insane.
And you were like, banger, I'm dancing this all day.
Okay. Before I hate on that song, I was super into it at the time.
Dude, I was too. I thought it was good.
So at that time, there was so many people shuffling. When I came back in 8th grade, that was it. Dressing like how they did in that video, and shuffling all the time. That's what was it at that time. So at the time, here's where I decided to like pick some people's brains a bit. So since I found out people were shuffling, I met one of my best friends there. His name, I'm gonna shout him out.
Yeah,
his name is Carlos. I met him in 8th grade, and he told me he like we started talking, and then like started talking to him about shuffling, and he said he knew how to do it, but all he knew was like the basic running man and two-steps. But he said he was interested in learning more. So that's when me and him started essentially just practicing after school, during school. I was teaching him like, here's this style that I do. So if you want to learn, I could teach you it. So I pretty much started teaching him like the big running man. He already had the T-steps and then like all those big combos. So like that's how I slowly started getting more people into that. And
your first Padawan.
Pretty much, yeah. And then like, okay, so low key, he was getting better than me.
And you're like, I gotta stop teaching this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, damn, he's getting better than me. I gotta stop teaching him. But he's like, we're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
So at the time, there was a couple people that like started talking to me because of how my shuffling was at the time. It was different compared to everybody else's. And then I started talking to. I had science class with this one guy. His name was Brian. He would always talk smack about shuffling, but I always knew that he knew how to do it. So like, I don't remember exactly when it was when he like started getting into. Well, when he started talking to me more, but I don't remember exactly how we started dancing together. But that dude was insane. He was so good. Then he became into our group. We started dancing like a lot all the time during lunch, stuff like that. And then we had this other guy named Marco, and during that time he knew how to do it. And pretty much the same story as I told you with the first guy I started teaching, Carlos. So it just became like that. And then one day, I don't think you know this story. So one day we all got together. It was like, we should make a crew. And guess what it was called?
Jorge.
No.
It had to be something with you, right?
No, it didn't have anything to do with me.
Got it.
It was, we were just thinking of like random names. And, one of our friends pitched it out. It was like, what about Mile High Shufflers?
Oh, no, really?
Yes.
Some forecasting.
Yeah. So that's what our first crew was named. It's called Mile High Shufflers.
The OG MHS. Yeah, copyright that.
We're trying to battle? No,
yeah. Nah. You bring your best four. We got our best four.
Oh, shit. We honestly... we were trash. Like, looking back at it now, we were pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it was cool at the time. Like, we were just like, we would hang out, we would dance, and then like we had Facebook and all everything that we would post videos, MHS and all this stuff.
Have you ever told Dee about that? Or
I don't know if I have. I think I did once, but I think they forgot about it. But
like, oh, that's cool.
But yeah, that's how that started out. And then it's so weird because people knew about us, but we didn't think anybody knew about us at that school, like our name or anything like that.
This was like high school, right? It was still middle school?
It was still 8th grade of middle school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, dude. It like all went so quickly. But and then people started asking us if we could try out for the crew. And then like, I was like, what? Shit,
we don't have a criteria. Like, do we just let anyone in?
We don't have any structure. How are they gonna get into this group?
Yeah,
and then we're just like make a tryout video or something like that. And then just post it on YouTube and show us, and then we decide. But like, it was so weird. Like, we were super childish back in the day. So like, like 2 months later, we decided to change the name. We decided to change the name and just go off something. We just named ourselves something else. I don't know why, but we just did.
What was it?
It was KTB. It was called, it stood for Killing the Beat.
Killing the Beat?
Yeah.
Got it. Stop that beat.
at the time we all had like our little shuffle names and all this stuff.
What was your call sign?
Don't worry about it.
What?
No, I'm just playing. Okay, so when I was in MHS in the beginning,
OG MHS, not the fake MHS.
Okay, so let's just say 2011 MHS.
Got it.
Okay, so my name was Impact with a K. Impact with a K. And then turns to like a month later, I made a video on YouTube called MHS Impact, and I guess there was another guy in Cali called Impact the same way I wrote mine.
Oh, you started beef.
I guess so. But like he was just saying, "Oh, you copied my name and everything like this." And I was just, I don't even want to deal with this, so I just switched it. And then I like later when I was in KTB, I named myself Beats. I don't know why. Oh, I think I knew. At the time, I was like one of the people that would always find like really good songs and like stuff that like no one would dance to. And that's why I put beats, because I found a lot of cool beats.
Got it.
It was a trip.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
But it's good that you had like your little tribe. You know what I mean? Because you guys probably pushed each other. You probably kept it interesting, you know, throughout the time that you were learning and bouncing things off of each other. Because it's sometimes hard to learn shuffling or to stay inspired about shuffling in a vacuum. You know what I mean? When you're just the only echo chamber, you know what I mean? You're going through the same stuff, or even if you're looking at YouTube videos, it's not the same as like that instant feedback that you can have from just like talking about something. You know, maybe the way that one of your homies articulates a move or a concept or whatever else to you resonates more than whatever you're watching in the YouTube video. And then like you can ask questions and all that stuff. So I'm sure it was a good means for you to progress, you know, and then to have kind of like a little community. You know, it seems like you built a community around that. And, you know, I think communities is obviously huge, you know, in the shuffle realm. And so when did that like really take off for you? Because it seems like you were dabbling into it at that time, just you know, like I said, building this little tribe. When did that kind of blow up to like where you are now, starting to meet like all the friends that you have now that shuffle, and you kind of immerse yourself into this world?
So in between like transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade, that's when like a lot of the hype with shuffling started to die down. And that's when like I don't know why everyone's stopping, but like I continued to do it because I was like so fascinated in wanting to learn new ways to do combos, how to switch things up, how to do my style differently, like just switch on my running man, make it like lengthier, make it just
variations,
a bunch of different variations into my style. I just wanted to see what I could do with it. And that was when I started to deep dive in my freshman year, because nobody would do it. And that's when I tell you I became like a little loner shuffler. Because I would constantly just practice in my garage. And that's like my safe space, I guess you can say. Yeah, and that's when I kind of went low key. I stopped posting videos and stuff like that. And I would just do it on my own. And I remember one time I did it in like, I had lunch in freshman year, and like I would go out into the little patio during lunchtime and I would like shuffle. And like people were like, "You still do this?" And like I would get judged for shuffling. Like, why? I'm like, I didn't get it at the time. But you asked on how I started to like
it seemed like you were in the small community first, and then like you went back to being a loner and like maybe even being like a little bit ostracized from like what you just said. When did that turn back around and like you found like another tribe?
Okay, so after in 2015, that's when I like slowed down a lot with my shuffling. I kind of went on a hiatus from like, let's say 2016 to like the end of 2018. But like I never really I didn't stop completely. I would do it here and there, but I wouldn't like take it seriously. Because I like started getting my first job. I was in a relationship, and like that kind of got put into like the back pedal of everything.
Yeah.
So I
it
didn't
wasn't your
really-
highest priority,
no,
perhaps.
at the time it wasn't. So I kind of stopped, and then like for my first job, I worked at a fast food restaurant, and like I gained so much weight from that, and like in my relationship, like we didn't make the best choices in what we ate on our health completely.
Yeah.
And then that relationship ended in 2019. And then, but like a little before that, I wanted to get back into it. But like just with all the problems that I had in that relationship, it like kind of like put it to the back pedal again.
Yeah.
And then once that ended, I really wanted to get back into it. So like I started practicing again, and then at the time I wanted to get into a weight loss journey. So I put that as my main priority, and like I would get home and do shuffling as cardio. So that's how like I really got back into it. And at the time in 2019, I told myself that I made myself a goal that I wanted to look somewhat decent by Global Dance Festival. So
Can I just interject?
Yeah.
What was that moment where it was like, enough is enough? You know what I mean? Like, I am on this path. I have put shuffling on the back burner. I'm not making the best choices with my diet, my relationship, whatever else. Like, what was the moment where you're like, all right, like screw all this. Like, I'm going to start doing these things for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember one time my brother came into my job and he hadn't seen me in a while. So he like he just looked at me like, what happened to you? And like and I didn't change up like right away. It was in my mind for a long time. And then like once I like the beginning of that year of 2019, I wanted to do that for myself. I wanted to like start changing my habits and start changing what I eat. I wanted to focus on my own health. And at the time I was just like, I was still eating bad, but I was still in that relationship, and it was like getting super toxic at the time. And like after we broke up, and dude, heartbreak is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
It can do a lot of things for you.
100%,
It can do a lot of things to you, and it can do a lot of things for you.
Yes.
And it did a lot of things for me. It made me all right. I was like, one day I was just like looking at myself in the mirror, and I just didn't like what I saw. And so I started going to the gym, and then I started doing like stuff on the elliptical, and I hated it. So
Hey, they're good on the knees, all right?
they're good on the knees, and I do them now because of my injury. What's it called? I was like, why don't I just try shuffling again? And then that became my like almost daily regimen. Go to the gym and do my cardio, and I would do shuffling because my body was used to that, and like I had done it for so long that I wouldn't have gotten injured from it because of I shuffled like I used to shuffle at like a heavy weight still, so like my body was used to it already, so like I didn't have to really worry about injury at the time. So I just did that, and then got super back into it. I became obsessed again, and then I would like do it all the time.
And then you say you had that goal once you started getting back into it, that you wanted to go to Global Dance in 2019 and be fit and limber.
Well, I wasn't fit, but like I had lost a decent amount of weight.
In comparison to where you were, Okay, got it.
So here's where current MHS falls into the pit.
Got it. Not 2011. Not 2011.
That's 2011 MHS. That's in the past.
Yep.
Okay, so Global came around, and I was in the main stage most of the time, and I was with like my cousins and my brother at the festival, and I like kind of just wanted to do my own thing because I didn't want to see the person that was playing on the main stage. Yeah, it was Diplo, by the way. He was kind of mad at the time, but I wasn't really vibing with it, so I just wanted to go walk around. I went to like the Bay stages. I wasn't into that at all. And then I went to the Amazon stage. That's where things kind of shocked me a bit. So I went to the Amazon stage, and like I was in the back because like I wanted to dance and I didn't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
But then I was just dancing, and then I finished like one of my little rounds that I did, and I was just like looking at the stage, and I look over to my right, and I see people shuffling, and I was like, "What the hell?" But it didn't look like traditional shuffling at the time. It looked like shaping.
Okay.
And from what I know now, it was Sam, it was Madison, and I think it was Paulina that I saw in that little circle. And like, oh, these girls are good. And then, but like, I didn't go up to them because I was like shy and I didn't want to go to them and like intrude on what they were doing. So I just didn't say anything, and then I just did my own thing. And then so after Global happened, a couple days later, turns out my cousin was in the MHS group chat. And by the way, Didi, you messed up this story. So here's my origin story and how I
lay it to us straight.
Okay, so my cousin, he was shuffling at the time, but he would do it like only at festivals.
Okay.
And he was in that group chat, the one we're in now. So he told them that I shuffled. So he said that my cousin shuffles, and I feel like he would be good part into this group. Yeah. So he referred me to them, and then he asked if it was okay if I were into that group, and that's when I got added into the MHS group chat. And then
before you even met any of them.
Yeah, I just got added to it because I shuffled.
Got it.
And so I started looking at everybody's pages. I said like hi to everybody to the group chat, and I started looking to their pages, and I came across Sammy's page. Yeah. And like I saw like a post of her from Global, and I was like, no fucking, that was her. That was her. Yep. And like it was just like the full circle moment. Like I never expected to see them ever again. And then I just like found out they had a whole group chat. There's a bunch of shufflers here in Colorado, but it was different, a little different before I met them, because from when I told you when I first wanted to start shuffling again, when after like the breakup and everything like that. Yeah. So I had Instagram. I just searched up shuffling, and I searched up the hashtag shuffling, and then I can't believe I almost left this out because it was like one of the first shufflers I saw back in the scene. So I searched up shuffling, and I found this page called Shuffle NYC. Okay. And the only like I was looking at a bunch of different shufflers, but the one that caught my eye was Dave Ruby. Do you know who Dave Ruby is? Yeah. So
Dave is sick.
I found his page on Instagram. It was the real Dave Ruby. And like I saw one of his videos at a festival. I'm like, dude, this dude is sick. Yeah. And like
not just in shuffling, like everything else.
But like at the time, I was just strictly shuffling. So like I like really liked his style. So like I ended up following him. I messaged him like, hey bro, like I love your shuffling. Can you check out my video? And like that's how I like slowly got into the scene. And then back to where I was saying with MHS, I think that next weekend they were having like a little meetup, but like, I was definitely gonna go. I did go, but like, I guess a bunch of them went to a show before that. Okay. So a lot of them didn't end up showing up. So the first one I ended up actually meeting was Sam, and like, dude, it was crazy because like she was strictly shapes back in the day. So like, she was a really good shaper, but compared to her style, you wouldn't even think that was her now.
Yeah. So Melbourne now, like.
Yeah, she's like, well, yeah, she was the first one I met, and then that's how I got slowly involved into what they were doing at the time. Because I was alone. I was just shuffling in my garage, posting videos every now and then slowly dabbling in again. And then that's when they threw their like first official MHS meetup. With
sound system.
Yeah, that's when they had. Okay. That was like their first official one. The next time, after when I met Sam, that was when everything got like they wanted to do an official meetup because they had a decent amount of people. Yeah. So, sorry. I like got scrambled in my own words, but
no, you're good.
That's when they had a Frick. I think Mike was there. Mike Lado. Yeah. He was there. And that's when they like brought their whole system. They were DJing live for the meetup. and like it was so awkward, man.
Why was it awkward?
For me,
oh, okay.
It was awkward for me
it.
because I hadn't met most of them, so I was like super nervous.
Okay.
So like I brought one of my friends with me. His name was Kana, and because I went to high school with him too, but we didn't connect until afterwards when he saw I started shuffling again. So I told them that I was gonna bring a friend that shuffled too. So after that. At least I had a friend with me that I could dance with.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't as awkward, but I like introduced myself to everybody. I met Dee. I met Paulina. I don't think I talked to her that day because she looked super intimidating. Sorry, but it's true.
She'd be like that. We love you, Paulina.
Yeah, dude, we love you. And then I met. There were so many. I think Emily Ratzlaff was there. I think Madison was there. And I think, I don't know if you ever met her, Kiyomi.
No. That was one of the ones that I think I missed.
Yeah, she was there too. And it was super intimate shuffle meetup. And like, it was such a great experience to like be there for the first official meetup and just like, it was special. I'll always remember that.
Yeah, those vibes are immaculate.
Yes, dude.
even the first one, I'm sure, if it was a resemblance of any of the ones that we've had after that, they're always very special,
Yeah,
just the rapport that's been built. Like there probably wasn't as much rapport, at that one, but I'm sure you guys vibed the hell out and it was a ton of fun. So, fast forwarding into the future, it's been, I think it's kind of built off of the relationships that have been made along the way. And then also, I don't know if the sound system got better or like became more sophisticated or, frickin' Mike always do a great job with like spinning music and whatnot. But it's been cool, like, incorporate other shufflers who DJ and then local Denverites, to come through and spin for us. So those are always a sight to be seen, know?
It was like really, I feel like it was a lot different back then. Like, I don't know why, but like ever since we like popped off like on Instagram and everything, when like we had this one meetup in like 2020, we had like over 50 people there. So like, but like, back then it felt super different and like
smaller.
It felt smaller and like people like just were there for like to dance. Like it was crazy.
You don't think that they're there to dance now?
I'm just saying what's in my mind right now.
Got it. Well, no, like, but that is a thing though. It's like when
it just felt more intimate. I would say, but like
they have like notoriety now. Yeah. So like a lot of people come from even outside of Denver and things like that. And like not everyone comes to shuffle. They just come to vibe. You know what I mean? There's that's
the thing though. Like back then, like not many people would come to like come vibe out. Like everyone felt like it was like super inclusive type of thing. So like nobody would come around and like kind of like dance with it. That's how I saw it. Okay. But like that's what I guess that's how I got involved with everybody. And like I was like super shy to like to dance at first, and then the one time I like felt super comfortable was I think it was during it was right before Christmas in 2019, and we had a little meetup like a couple days before, and I don't know why I just felt super comfortable with everybody, and I was just like being like my loud usual self like I am now. Like I mean,
you broke out of your shell.
Yeah, I broke out of my shell and I started getting comfortable with everybody. So like when a banger came on, I just went for it.
Go off.
And I just like that, and like nobody. I don't think anybody expected me to like pop off like that. Yeah. And like I knew I did afterwards because like I felt good about my run. So.
I think you probably had encouragement from everyone. Yeah,
everybody was like screaming. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy how just like I met everybody and everybody like I just clicked with everybody there. And like now they're like all like close homies.
Yeah. Like, they're all fam now. Yeah. And I think that's the part that really surprises people when they go into their journeys, right? It's like they don't they expect to perhaps get better at the dance if they're going to practice it and all these things. But I don't think everyone expects that they will enter into a world of like I always say, like this relational network that has so many different, layers to it, and serves you in many capacities. And I'm sure it's been having that community behind you, even just like this local community, but like you'd already been reaching out to like, individuals in New York, and I'm sure, other people like in Cali, if you're going into Cali style and stuff like that. I'm sure having all of those connections that you were making was very valuable, to you, just like even in your personal life. Like we're social creatures, like we need one another. At the end of the day, we need to feel like we belong to something. So, with that, was there, I know that you had some issues with like your relationship, and there was some, you had some turmoil with yourself about your health and things of that regard. Were there any other like tough times that you felt like shuffling either pulled you out of that or just helped you deal with like the problems that you were going through? You know what I mean? Almost like as a therapy session for you.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So throughout like my whole shuffle journey, like there was a lot of like rough patches that I went through, and like the only escape, because I didn't really talk to many people, shuffling was like my only escape. And whenever I had like a bad day at school or like just a bad day in general, I would just go into the garage, dance, put on my headphones, and just release all of that, whether it was like to like trance or whether it was like some very hard hitting progressive house or anything like that. And yeah, it like took me out of a lot of like rough spots when it came to like that relationship that ended, when it came to like just bad days. It took me out of some really tough
way to regulate your mood, or to get you out of like that like cycle of like self-defeating thoughts or whatever
like
else.
Releasing endorphins, man, it could do wonders for you. Like when I would have a bad day, and like I would just have like back then I used to go for like 2-3 hour sessions, and like after that session it would be like nothing ever happened. I just feel normal. I feel like in a way better mood than I went in before when I was all sad.
Whatever your problems were beforehand, they were minuscule in comparison to like when you started.
Bro. Yeah, and like it was like you said, it was like therapy to me. So like it's hard to put into words now, because like all the problems that happened back then, I don't even remember. But like,
but you knew you had them. Like,
I knew I was having a bad day, because those are like decisions that I remember still to this day. Like, I still have videos on YouTube and stuff like that where I like have, where I like had from those sessions. But like those are like, you wouldn't even think anything was wrong if you saw those videos. But like I was just like doing my best to like release it as much as I can.
It was like it was an outlet for you to be able to get out whatever you were bottling up, or to sort it, during those times.
100%, bro.
Yeah. And it's like, I think I had Trent on the podcast the other day, and we were talking about it. Like he had an injury. He had a couple injuries that he was going through. And when he stopped dancing and like had to be bedridden for a little bit, it severely affected his mental health, because we often forget that moving our bodies around has such an impact on our mood and how we're feeling, and like and on a physiological level, it's probably like all the hormones that are coming out. You said dopamine, you know what I mean? Just like the blood flow to the right places and things of that nature. So I think it's very important to regulate your mood with movement, I
honestly feel like that's why I got so latched onto this dance. It's because at the time I was like going through some shit, like some family matters that happened, and like I didn't know how to like cope with it. I like, it happened when I was a kid, but when I was like a teenager, I started thinking about it more, and like I didn't know how to cope with it. So once I got into shuffling, that's when it like literally, it all came out into my movement, all like my emotion, everything I was feeling, it would all release when I was dancing. So that's why I feel like I latched on so hard to that, to this dance. And it wasn't just because of that, but it was also because I fucking love this. I fucking love this dance.
It's both, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's both. Like it helps you in many capacities, just like, you know, continuing to dig through an interest and find every little nook and cranny of it. But then also it's been medicine for you at the same time. So I'm sure that's really helped you out throughout your journey. But real quickly, I want to talk about kind of when like you were removed from Denver, at least, and that you kind of had I don't know if it was like a hiatus of your journey. Like you said, you had that portion where it was, you know, the relationship era and
also
stuff like that.
Like in 2016 to 2018?
Yeah. From that point on, but then you kind of had a hiatus here again recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, when you decided to move to Canada, correct? So what did that look like for you? Because I will spoil it. You came back, you know what I mean? You were here.
I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, I'm back.
This is not a teleconference. You're here in Denver.
I'm zooming from Canada right now.
But you had made a very strong decision that you wanted to go and do that. And I don't know how much you were shuffling at that time. If you had the opportunities to shuffle, if you had the opportunities to go to shows, to continue to, you know, be a part of the scene. Like, how was that experience for you? Because I'm sure it was probably tough, you know, if I were to forecast.
In the beginning, it was hard to say see you later to everybody from Denver. So it was like really hard because of all the relationships I built with everybody, and like it was just hard to say goodbye to all of that.
And what was your pull to like go there? Like, I
was planning on going to school out there, but like it's just I don't know what it was. I just didn't like it there. Like, it was good. It was fun and everything to see my mom and I see how she was doing, catch up with her and her husband, and like just to see how everything was. But my whole plan was to go to school out there and like just see what it was like there. But I just honestly, just to like give it to you straight, I just straight up didn't like it.
Got it.
Like I would dance here and there, but I just didn't have the drive like I did in Denver.
Do you think that was like the people that you were around and like the opportunities?
I would just shuffle alone. Like, they had a basement. I would just dance there, but it was like more like just to like, I guess it wasn't to like get better or anything. It was just like to feel good because I was in a rut there. It was it was a little bad, but I could only handle it so much there, and like I just didn't like it. So like I tried to like give it some time. Like I think I was there for like 3 months, and I just said I want to go back to Denver.
Got it.
And like just try to make everything work out here. And yeah, I just came back. And I think I told it was you and Mario were the only people I told that I was gonna come back because my favorite DJ was gonna play at church.
Yeah, Elon Bluestone. Yeah.
And so I was gonna come back and not tell anybody that I was coming back, and then I just ended up surprising whoever was there that I was back.
That was a great night.
Yeah, it was an amazing night.
I remember I picked you up that night because I think you had a car at that time. And brought you to the show because you were
met my whole family. Man.
Yeah. I wish I could have spoken Spanish to them. You guys were all like I
just remember you walking in and everybody just looking at you.
Yep. I was like, hi, I gotta use the restroom. Or ¿dónde está el baño?
I remember that was hilarious. But we were talking about Canada. I wanted to talk like a little bit before that happened. I wanted to say like once I got into the group and like once I started like talking to people, like people I got comfortable with. So like one person that I want to shout out was my former lab partner, but she's not there. She's not here anymore. It was Emily.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, she was
your buddy.
Yeah, she was dope.
Still is.
She's still dope, but she's not here anymore, which sucks. But it's like I remember one time it was super random. She like asked me to help her move from her apartment, and like I barely knew her at the time, and that's like after that we just like started like hanging out. She started coming out to sessions. We would lab all the time, and that's when I feel like I grew a lot as a dancer too, and because she's super diversely talented in all the stuff that she did, her shuffling, her whacking, all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's super good. And then later on that year, I decided to take a trip out to Cali. It was like right after COVID, or like it was still COVID, but like we were able to travel now.
Is this when you went with Araya?
Yeah. I didn't know you knew about that.
I just had her on. She was telling me about.
She brought it up.
Yeah,
That's awesome. But
she's talking about you.
But yeah, it was right after COVID. I decided to take a trip out to Cali, and weirdly enough, Araya was planning on going to Cali too. So we just, surprisingly, we were on the same flight too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I didn't know till like a couple weeks before, but I didn't know we were on the same flight. And then knowing her, she was like the last one to enter the plane because she texted me. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a drink before," or something like that. But yeah, like we went to Cali, so we just kind of like aligned some of the stuff we were gonna do out there. I like before all that happened, I reached out to Star 67 Taco just on a whim, saying like, "Hey man, you're like one of my biggest inspirations in this dance. I'm coming out to Cali, so I was wondering if you wanted to meet up or something like that."
Yeah, Sash or do
whatever. Because like at the time I put him on a super huge pedestal because he was like my favorite dancer. Well, he still is my favorite dancer. He's a beast. I reached out to Taco and Sky. Yeah, because they were homies. Yeah, Lefty. Yeah. They were homies, and like I wanted to reach out to both of them because it would be like an honor to laugh with those guys. And they ended up saying yeah. And like they said they wanted to meet up. They said the only reason they said yeah is because I reached out months ahead of time so we could plan it all together. But back to the Cali trip. There was a Raw sessions happening that same day that we landed. And it was so crazy. I met everybody. I met Mizu, Marco, Val. I met a lot of people that night. I met Hex. He was insane. I don't know if you know who he is. He's Cali Shuffler. He's like dope. He's super dope. He was actually my first battle.
Okay. Yeah, I know you guys were battling there.
Yeah, it was a Raw Sessions battle.
Okay.
Like exclusive thing. But the first person I met was Mizu. And I still talk about this till this day. Every time I see him, I was like, bro, remember the first time I saw him, I was like, bro, I thought you were gonna be taller. And then he was like, he pretty much
shots fired.
Yeah, he was like, fuck you. Yeah, and it was such a fun time. So back to the battles. I just had to get that in there because
of course.
Mizu, I love you, bro, but I always got to tell you this.
That's funny. You guys judged together at the MHS kill-off.
It's like kind of like a full circle.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the first person I battled was Hex at that event, and believe it or not, that was my first official battle. And I think, I won that battle. And then there's this super OG guy. I don't remember his name. I wish I did, but he was good. He was good. And we battled, and like we went one round, and like we got a tie. So they made us go to another round, and like I was just gassed. Yeah. So like I couldn't even give it my all, and like I ended up losing, sadly. But
damn, dude, for coming from Denver, like
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
sorry.
What is it called? Ground level, or what was it? Sea level? Sea level. When you go to sea level, like you're usually gonna be Gucci, right?
I was out of practice. It was during COVID. It was like right after COVID happened, so I wasn't even. COVID did so much things to my flow, so I stopped for a little bit. So like I wasn't like super in practice. At the time when I went to Cali, but after that, the day after, that's when I met up with Taco because he wanted to kick it. He wanted to like hang out, like it was shout out to Taco, man.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But like outside of the dance too, like he went out of his way to like make sure I was comfortable. Like he came to like pick me up from where I was staying at in Cali in Los Angeles, and like he went out of his way to do all this stuff to like hang out. Like it wasn't even just about the dance, it was more about to like get to know me as a person. So like he went out of his way to drive, take the day off, do all this stuff. We went to hang out. We went to Long Beach, and here's the one thing where I got to give him like my respects, because he asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, where I was born in Anaheim in Cali, and it was like, let's say it was like 20 minutes out from where we were at in Long Beach, because I was like, I was born in Anaheim. Can you like take me over there? I was super like, I didn't want to ask him.
Yeah, you felt weird about it.
Yeah, but he was like, "No, let's go." And like, he took me, and I was like, "Bro, you took me to where I was born. That's fucking dope." like he went out of his way to do all that. So
that's cool. That's a cool representation of the shuffle community. You know what I mean? Just like trying to connect, trying to vibe. Like it's more than the dance. It's about the people. You know? Like, shout out to him.
That's the
dope.
homie. That's the homie. But yeah, like, and then afterwards we went to eat, and then like we went to his like lab spot by his by where his girlfriend was staying, or where she was at. He had like this little lab spot like in this little ditch, and at the time I was like doing my little videography stuff, so I kept pushing it, like, bro, let me film you, but he didn't want to. And then so we just ended up labbing there, and then he taught me so much. Like, you should see the video of before I went to Cali and after I went to Cali. It's like completely different. It's like he like told me to like do switch on my running and make it lengthier, since I was so tall, like make it bigger, like make your presence known. And like he showed me to like use my hips when I do my running man. And like he like completely switched up my style. And like just like these little things that he noticed, that
the nuances.
And like he completely switched up my style, and like ever since I came back from Cali, it was nuts. And so after that, we went the day after, we went to the FTS studio. It was me, Taco, and Sky. We went to the FTS studio, and they were just like teaching me like so much things that I can't even remember completely what they were now. But like just like how like to listen to the music, like listen to like these little like distant like noises in the tracks, and
musicality.
Like, just musicality, technicality, my foundation, everything like that. They just pretty much told me how much more I could do with my whole style, and like I've done all that ever since I've came back from there.
And I think that pays tribute to them as mentors. You know what I mean? That you implemented what they were saying. You know what I mean? And they probably respect you for that at the end of the day.
I hope so. But
they probably do.
I've been looking up to Star 6'7" since like 2012, 2013. Like I've been seeing their videos for so long. So like just meeting them, it was just like
superhero moment.
It was crazy, bro.
It was my moment when I met you.
Like I've been watching them for so long, and like just meeting them, and it was crazy. Like just seeing their styles in person, and now I'm like, how different it feels to be around that. It's crazy.
Do you think you said before the interview that you were a crew hopper? You think you'll hop into that crew? Huh? I don't even know what's the criteria to get into Star 67.
So from what I've heard, you gotta battle every member.
Okay.
And like right at one time.
Yeah.
So you gotta battle every one of the members, and then I think they get you in after that. But
okay.
I'm not completely sure. But yeah, I would be super open to getting into that crew.
Star 67, hear me out.
Please. But yeah, like that, I feel like that whole trip completely changed my outlook on shuffling. And like, like right after I got back, I like lapped every single
You probably
day.
Inspired, you know what I mean?
I was super inspired.
Yeah. That's what happened. Like, I don't.
It's the Cali effect, bro.
It's the Cali effect, but it's just like inspired shufflers gathering together effect. You know, like so. I do think I think that's probably the recipe why, or as to why festivals are so big. Because it's like you're usually just finding other shufflers to essentially lab with, you know, which it's a good music. And so I think that same thing can happen outside of a music event. You know what I mean? It can just be a gathering. I think it happens at, you know, the battles. Even if you're a spectator, you're seeing like the really good shufflers out on the dance floor, you know, doing their thing. You're inspired, and then in between rounds, like you might go out there and try something new. Like we saw it at the MHS kill off. You know, even when I got picked off, you know, and didn't qualify, which we're gonna have words after this.
You want to talk about it? We can talk about it right now.
You got my scorecard, bro?
I don't actually.
But like that inspiration that you get, and like the meetup the next day and everything like that, we're all dancing together. We're dancing with people who we've never, you know, labbed with before or seshed with, and so I think that you know, that sphere of knowledge that's created, that bubble, you know, of just a bunch of shufflers who love this dance and are inspired. It rubs off on you in many different ways. You know what I mean? It's
crazy because that meetup when we got back from Cali and I think there was, we came back on, I came back on Tuesday of that following week. And there was a meetup happening the next Sunday that was coming up. And me and Araya were like crazy inspired at the time. And then like we were just dancing and everything like that meetup that happened, that was going on. And she called me out for a battle. And then like, I was like, you want to do this? She was like, do you want to do this? I'm like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
And like that was at the time when Denver didn't really have like a battle scene at all. And me and her were like super inspired since we had just battled Cali shufflers, and we thought we were like let's do this. And we battled, and like we had like a huge crowd going on, and like it was crazy. It was just like an insane moment. And I think that's like when battling started to pick up at that time. And like everybody wanted to start battling. I think that's when Mario came up to us and said he was interested in doing this, and like look at like how do it, like just do it.
Yeah. I'm sure Paulina probably had an effect on that. So I know she's been battle oriented for quite some time.
Definitely a great dancer. She's super underrated. I think so. She's an amazing dancer.
100%.
So later on, a couple months down the line, I decided to go back out to Cali. And I think this was in July. I went with Emily to Cali around that time. And we met up with Taco, Sky, and Anthony. I don't know if you know him. Do it for the likes on Instagram.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we all met up, and we were at the show. It was In the Mood. It's Nicole Mudabar's event.
Okay.
I think there was who else was there? I can't remember the art. Oh, Will Clark. Clark. And during his set, we were all just like going off, and it was so fun. And then like, we all met up. We lapped, me, Taco, Emily, and Catherine Edie. Yeah, we all lapped a couple days later at this parking lot spot, and like, oh my god, it was so fun. And we learned a lot from Taco that day. Again, well, me again, learned so much. And later on that, like we all went, well, not Taco, but me, Emily, I don't know if Catherine went, but we went to the FTS studio and they were having a Sunday session.
Okay.
And dude, okay, so this is in my perspective. So since I had joined the FTS tournament earlier, the online tournament, like right before that trip, me and Mizu would have battled on our bracket if we had both won our battles.
Okay.
And like this had been like a following theme. Like we were like this close to battling, but it never happened. So I asked him at the FTS studio that if like, hey bro, you want to battle? Cause
right
like,
there.
Yeah, like literally there. But he's like, yeah, I'm down, but just tell me when. And then like I had a little like couple minutes to like think of something to do.
Some concepts to throw at him.
And like that's when we ended up battling. Like there was no circle or anything, and then and we just did our thing, and then like they opened up a huge circle for us out of nowhere. I'm like, God damn, I don't want anyone to know.
I wanted it to be in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. So like there's this whole crowd around us, and we ended up battling, and somehow I got the win. I just pulled out shit from my ass, to be honest.
Hell yeah.
But it was like I feel like I'm starting to get pretty good at this battling stuff. Like I said that in my own head, so like I just kept practicing that. And I remember like a couple months later, Mizu like told me that after that battle, he was like, oh, I'm getting my shit together because I don't want this to happen again. He told me like I was like, I guess that person like made him like want to get better at battling. So like I was like, holy shit. Coming from a Cali shuffler?
Yeah.
Like it's just
And Mizo's nice. You know, like he's really nice with it. Like he when he tells you that, like it means something, you know, because of just the work that he's put on and put into his craft.
I was like shocked that he told me that. I was like, me? No, me? But yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like just how it's crazy how you go to like let's say in this instance Cali. It's crazy like how much that affects you like as a shuffler because of how big that community is. And like it's crazy the amount of knowledge you take back with you when you come back home after being there for like a couple of days, and like what you learn and what you implement to your dance with that. It did so much for me, and like it completely switched up my style in so many ways, and I'm grateful for that. That's those amazing experiences to Cali. I don't know, man.
It's unlike any other, I'm sure, you know.
I've been wanting to go to other like shuffle communities. Like I definitely want to. I want to go to like New York, Florida, Texas, but I don't know why Cali has a special place in my heart. Maybe because I was born there.
Yeah, born there, or like you just have sentimental experiences, and you have homies there, things like that. There's an allure, to go back to Cali, and with that, are you going to ShuffleCon by any chance?
No, I am not.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But speaking of tournaments, my first tournament was at the Tombs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tombs. Oh my gosh, man. I hate talking about this, but I will share it. So that was my first shuffle tournament, and I felt like I was ready. I felt like I was ready to go. But like once I got to the location, I like got so nervous. I got super into my own head.
It was like the first time that you were stepping into a ring, like, and it was structured.
Much, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So
that can be intimidating.
It was super intimidating. I felt like I had it in the bag. I felt like I was confident. I felt like I was like laughing a lot too.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, so my first round was against this guy named Andy. His name was like on Instagram, I think it's like Andy Does It.
Okay.
And he's like a house dancer and he shuffles too. So I like looked into his videos and I felt like it was a pretty good match. I feel like I was able to win, but I was just super into my own head, and the worst thing possible that could have happened.
Did you start like your high knees before the drop?
No,
that's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst. This is the worst thing that could happen. I feel like I had the most embarrassing part out of the whole tournament.
Send it.
Okay, so my first round was fine. I think it was fine. I like didn't go too out of like my own style. I just kept it safe. Then my second round, I wanted to do something flashy to like get the crowd going or something like that. So I went for a hat trick. I grabbed my hat, hit it on my foot, and it caught into there. And I was just gonna flick it back and catch it with my hand. And I used too much power in my leg, and the hat went flying in the air.
You gotta pretend like you meant to do it, you know.
I know, but like, I went to go try and catch it, and it went like all the way across the stage.
Damn.
And like, I caught it, but then like, I was like, what's the point of even doing like? Oh, I didn't catch it. It like fell on the ground, but I went running for it. So like, I should have just let it go.
Yeah.
I went for it, and I was like.
It like ruined your flow.
It
like
ruined my flow. It ruined everything. In my opinion, I still haven't watched that clip back. I don't want to watch it back. But yeah, like the worst thing that happened, and then I got eliminated there, and that's when like after that I got super into my own head after the event, and then like I kind of just stopped
battling or shuffling.
I stopped shuffling for like a couple weeks, and then I got back into it. But like I was super discouraged after that. Like I was way too hard on myself for it.
Yeah. Well, you probably had some expectations going into it. It seemed like you were pretty hot, like high on your high horse at the moment, and you're like, got it in the bag.
Yeah, like, I had like felt like I was at my best at that time.
Yeah.
And like it was around the time I was battling a lot, and yeah, I just got into my own head.
Shuffling can humble you in that kind of way, right? You know, like you think you're prepped and prepared and everything like that.
Like, you think you're hot?
Yeah.
Let me slap you up real quick.
Yeah. And like that goes for battling. That goes for just like the own mental jujitsu that you might have with your own head as to, you know, like how you're progressing and whatnot. Like it does throw you for a loop, and it will humble you at times. So you just got to be ready for it. It's not the hard way. Yeah, it's not if, it's when, you know? So, but no, that's probably a good experience that you had, you know, and it probably made you a better battler, you know, because just, you know, learning from that lesson, don't try a trick that you're not proficient at, or don't try a concept that you're not proficient at. I had Miggs on episode 6, and he was telling me, you know, that he's going to be at ShuffleCon and all that stuff, and that he is now learning new things right now and trying to become proficient at new things right now, so that he can bring them into the ring when he's there. He's not going to try and bring anything into the ring that he hasn't, you know, really prepped for. So, and I thought that was very smart, you know, because he wants to impress the judges with, because they know his style, you know what I mean? They're going to know of him, and he wants to, you know, try some new things to show his versatility. So I thought that was good.
I definitely learned that the hard way. Don't try things you haven't practiced that much. I had practiced it a couple times, and every time I did it, I got it right.
Yeah.
But like, I felt like I was just in my own head and didn't practice it enough. So that ended up happening. And ever since then, I feel like I've taken that into account, and my battling has been a lot better for it, for that experience. So I don't regret what happened there. I'm just like ashamed that I know I could have done better, but didn't. Yeah. Because I did a move that I didn't practice.
Got it. Yeah. It's a judgment call that went south. It's all, you know, it's all good. You'll come back. You'll do it again. I kind of embarrassed
myself along with it, but
it's all good, man. Like the timeline of you shuffling, that is a very small blip in your shuffle career and like what people know you as, you know, and there's many more years to come of that.
100%.
And so you had mentioned that you had taken a hiatus, or not a hiatus, I keep using that word, but like you took a couple weeks off after that, kind of like licked your wounds and everything like that. And then you jumped back into it, but that was very much voluntary of you. You know what I mean? You just kind of laid low for a little bit. So you've had an instance in your life recently where it took you out of the shuffle game for quite some time, and it was more involuntary than anything. Can you describe like the injury that you had and kind of how it affected you?
Yes, sir.
And how it came to fruition? Like, you know, what was kind of like the lead up to this, and then, you know, going into surgery and all that stuff?
So I was at work one day, and they had me. So I currently work at UPS, so they had me go into a chute where they drop packages from, and as the packages were coming out, the packages were coming down, it got stuck, and the chute got stuck, and then one of them supervisors had me go up the chute, and we usually kick down the boxes just to get it unstuck, and
that's why my boxes are all fucked up when they get here.
We're not kick them; we just like push it down with our foot because our legs are strong.
I'm messing with it. Keep going.
But it gave way easier than I thought it would, and my left foot got caught on a roller, and my essentially my foot slipped, and most of my weight went on my right leg, and my my knee just ended up popping twice, and it like hurt like crazy. But like if I would have let up, I would have fallen down the chute. Could have been possibly worse. So I like mustered up as much strength as I can, and I got out of there. But it like hurt like crazy. So they told me if I wanted to get checked out of the doctor. At first, I wanted to see if it would just go away, but the next day I told them that it was hurting like crazy. So they sent me to the doctor. I got an MRI checks. It turns out my ACL and meniscus were torn, and yeah, so I wasn't able to dance or anything like that. I ended up getting surgery.
When was this? Like, was this like 2021 or?
No, it was at the end of 2022. The injury happened in October of 2022, and
this past year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it was recent. And then I ended up getting surgery at the end of December, and it's been hard, especially just like right after the surgery, like the first month and a half, because I wasn't able to walk at all. I was in like a brace and like wrapped up in the stuff, and I was in crutches for a month and a half, and it was like super rough because I was just starting to get back into like my fitness stuff. I was starting to get back in the gym. I was starting to take shuffling seriously again, and then that all came to a halt. Yeah. And not being able to walk it sucks, man.
Being like just dependent on other people, and getting your food and like
I can't even. I got to sit down and take a shower.
Yeah. Feel like an old person or something.
It sucked. It sucked a lot.
And the fact that you weren't able to like go sesh with the fam and or like be at shows and stuff like that, because you probably could have gone like in a wheelchair or something, but like. Is that really? I
didn't want to do that.
Yeah, is that the experience that you really want? And
like if I like, there's a reason why I haven't been out most of these months at all. Just because, when was our last meetup?
It was February. February, we were outside at Cheese.
Yeah, so like, just being there, like I could take it all in. Like when I'm not there. Like I could accept it, but when I'm there, all I want to do is dance. Yeah. So like that's why I've been away. I haven't really been around. I've been pretty quiet. So I just don't want to, like, I guess, get FOMO. And like that's like shuffling has always been a big part of my life. So not being able to do it is already hard, but seeing everyone that I like care about do it, and me not being able to it hits a little different.
Yep. Yeah. No, I totally understand. And. Yeah, we're all a little bit different in that regard. I mean, Trent kind of went through the same thing when he talked. Like he didn't want to see people, or he didn't want people to see him in his worst state. You know what I mean? When he was healing from his ankle injury. Yeah. And like, and I can understand that too, because it's like, when you love this dance so much, there's a piece of you that wants to identify with it. You know what I mean? Identify with it hard, and then it's like. When you're at a meetup and then you can't dance, like you're still identifying with it, but it's ripping you apart, at the same time.
I just want to dance. But definitely the first month and a half was the hardest. It was the hardest. Being on crutches, just laying around, not doing anything.
Yeah. That whole like, movement is medicine type thing. Like when you don't have that, or it's harder to come by. I'm sure you started doing physical therapy and all that stuff, but like when you were down for the count, it was probably more difficult to do that. And like when you're laying sedentary, it's not good for the mind or anything like that.
Yeah, dude, especially on like the first couple of days, like when I would like unwrap my I take off my brace and unwrap my like bandages and everything.
A zombie knee.
And like it's like fat. It was fat.
Black and blue and all that stuff.
My knee was like super fat, and like I couldn't really bend it or anything like that. It would hurt when I would lift it up. So like I would get super discouraged on like how long is this whole thing gonna take? Am I gonna heal up quick? I just had so many questions in my mind that I just was super like I just didn't know what was gonna happen and how long it was gonna take. But according to my PTs right now, they're saying that I've been healing way quicker than most people. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I've been taking like the recovery process super seriously. I haven't been doing stuff that I shouldn't do. I've been doing it to a T. I have PT like twice a week, so they got me moving. And I just asked so many questions of what I can do at the gym right now. So I started getting back into it like towards the end of February. I started getting back into the gym, and like just been doing that. I just got cleared to start doing leg workouts. So I had like my first leg day like last week, so it felt
Probably
good.
kicked your ass.
It was hard. I was only able to squat like a 45 on each plate.
That's a lot though.
Is it?
Yeah, 135 on a bum knee.
Like when I was like able to do stuff.
That's 135. Excuse me.
Yeah. So, like the most I was able to squat was like 2 plates and like a 25 on each side.
Okay.
So I feel like that's pretty light.
Got it.
But like I've been like trying to like ease into it. So like
you don't want to re-injure yourself, or and the thing is like with your knee going and then you having to rehabilitate it, like other muscles around there are going to be more prone to injury if you haven't been using them, like your lower back and your hips and things like that. So it's like probably good that you're slowly integrating back into it.
Before even lifting and everything, the thing I'm like mainly focused on is just getting the flexibility back and being able to extend my leg all the way out and bring it back all the way in.
The mobility of all of it.
That's what I'm focused on the most right now, is just being able to get the movement, the full extension of my leg again, just so like there isn't any complication in the healing process.
Yeah.
And, like it doesn't get stuck halfway through or anything like that.
Yeah. Scar tissue that shouldn't be any which place. You know?
I just want to be able to like get back to normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
When do you think that you'll be back shuffling, at least like a small rock or, small running man or something like that?
I mean,
hard to say.
Yeah, I feel like maybe July.
Okay.
June, around there, maybe. But like sometimes when I'm just fucking around listening to music, I like pretend to do like running man and everyone.
Got it. Just like rehearse it in your mind, kind of.
See if I still got it or not.
You got it. It's in there. That muscle memory. You know?
But it's been a hard couple of months not being able to dance, and just not being able to like function at normally, because I still haven't been cleared to work or anything like that. I'm still out of work. I'm still doing PT, and it's good that I have the gym right now. I'll be like bored out of my mind.
Yep.
But it's been a tough process, but I've been through the hardest part already. So
yeah, you're kind of like on the other side. So and it's good because we're seeing you more, and like you're coming out and like. You'll be at the next meetups, and
I'm going to Regenerate.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Regenerate Fest, and we're, MHS will have a meepout there, and then you'll probably be at the meetup the following day.
I can't miss Queen Charlotte DeWitt, bro.
Yeah, of course not. So yeah, it's been great. It's been great seeing you out more, man.
It's been great seeing y'all. Like how close we were before I left to Canada and everything like that. Like I would see you guys like every week, and I haven't seen you guys since after curfew. MHS, I haven't seen you guys since then. It might not be a while, but it felt like a while for me.
Yeah. I mean, like a month is too long. Like even a couple of weeks is too long.
Especially
with all the close homies.
See everybody when you used to see everybody weekly.
Yep. It's then tough. that change, for sure. And I think we all could have done better to like come to you or like you come to us. I know it's probably more the onus is for us to come to you, but it's just injuries are such a bitch. They're tough to navigate, and the worst part of it is like it kind of takes you out of your social circle for a little bit. You know what I mean? To some capacity.
Yeah.
And it takes you away from your interests and your hobbies and that routine that you used to cling on to, and then you just have a new lifestyle for a little bit, but. That's also the beauty of it. It's like you have a lot of time to like be in kind of isolation or like, to be in the healing process. I think a lot of revelation can come from that.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot to think about. What I underappreciated, I appreciate a lot more now.
Yep.
And I'm more aware of what I don't want to happen. I don't want to get injured again. I want to be I want to be cautious as much as I can with just everything I do now. I mean, I didn't even know how badly I needed to walk until I got hurt after surgery. I'm never taking walking for granted ever again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just for dancing, when I come back, I'm definitely going to switch up my style a bit. I might not be like stomping as much as I used to, but it gives me more room to mess with my flow. So
yeah.
Wait for my next video. When I again, it might be different. We'll see. We'll see how my knee is, but I'm definitely gonna be cautious more of like my style and not stomp as much. Just be more careful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's smart, and that will pay dividends in the future. You know what I mean? If you're very cognizant and mindful of how you're going to go about your shuffling after this, you know, because those knees aren't going to last forever, you know, bro. And you got them repaired once. So it's probably best to, you know, prolong that as much as you can. Hopefully one day they have like little nanobots that they can just like shoot into your knee, and it cleans it all up and it puts cartilage back where it wasn't. For real. Yeah, but we're not there yet, so we need to prepare for the worst.
Who knows? You might see me dabble in a couple of different dance styles now. Might get into some other dance styles.
Dude, I think like house dancing would be it's much more gentle. You know what I mean?
House dancing. I want to learn. I want to dabble into hip hop. Get my practice back in with breaking. Because I was in it for a little bit, but then I fell off a bit. But I'm pretty sure I can still break a little bit.
You got the resources. We got Epi here. You know, he's got the new spot going.
Yeah, we got Epi.
Bambi.
My boy Bambi. Yeah. He taught me he's been pretty big influential too. It was random how I met him too. I think it was at Cosmic Gate. In 2021, I met Bambi. He was
at the church.
Yeah, at the church in 2021. I don't know if you were there.
Was that when we met Brent? Is that when Brent?
No, it was the year before.
Okay, I wasn't there.
So it was right before I went to Cali the second time.
Okay.
And we were at the church. It was packed. I don't know why it was so packed. But it was
Cosmic Gate is lit, yo.
But the year Brent went, it wasn't that packed.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, that's the it was random because I was in the circle, and then like after I got out, like I think Oriah went after me, and then after that Bambi went in. So I'm like, who the hell is this? This dude's fucking crazy. He's like doing all kinds of breaking moves. His shuffling was clean. And I was like, damn, who's this? I didn't really get to talk to him. I just told him like his style was sick.
Yeah.
And, like the shit was dope, bro. And then Global came around that July, like I think later that month, and he was there again. And like I did a round. He comes up to me, I'm like, bro, I want to battle you. And
he's like that. So like he's got a list of people he wants to battle, and you were on it.
Did he tell you about it?
Yeah.
And like I was like super shocked because I wasn't expecting him to say that. I was like, what? Because I was like confused at first. And like a little part of me didn't want to because I know how good he was. Yep. But
you held your own though. Like, dude, I'll link that video in the show note. That's sick, dude.
But let's say, okay, so that was the first day when he told me that, and I don't know that day MHS had like some filming stuff to do where we were wearing like the
promo, the promos that you guys
doing little promo videos for that. So we were supposed to battle at Chami in the main stage, but we were too busy with that, so it just didn't happen. So I thought he forgot about it. So I was like kind of relieved. So day 2 comes around. I think it was Sasha Rabodi that was playing at the Amazon stage. And then he told me he was going to call me like we had a circle going. He told me he was going to call me out. And then he got his round in, and then he came up to me, he just did like his usual battle stuff.
Yeah, he dissed you.
Yeah, he dissed me. And then like I was like, oh fuck, I guess we're doing this then. And then I came for my round. I think we went 3 rounds total. I was gassed at the end of that. But everyone told me I held my own, so
no, you definitely did.
I definitely pulled out some stuff that I don't usually do. And it was like one of the highlights of that Global for me. Because I don't know, just sharing that space with him, and like us trading energy like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You guys connected.
Yeah. And like, I definitely thought it was gonna be more of an intimidating thing, but we were just having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
We were enjoying ourselves, and he definitely brought out a part of me that I usually don't bring out when I dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that was crazy, like just like battling in general. Especially like I learned a lot from him with battling. So at the time I didn't really know what I was doing. I would just like do little disses and like just little tacky stupid things.
Yeah.
But he definitely like told me some stuff, like I think afterwards, but during that battle I started picking up things as he was going.
Mm-hmm.
And like he did this breaking move where like it's called a top rock. He did one of those, and like I was like, oh shit, he just did that. I know how to do that. So like I try to do the same thing and make it known that I was gonna do it, and I added my own little flair to it. So it's just little things like that.
Yeah, call and response type thing.
And like it wasn't planned. He just did it. I was like, oh, I can do this too. So I'm gonna try to make it look better than you.
Yeah.
He just did it. And then like once I did it, he was like, oh shit, I saw that. Yeah. So like just little things like that you just start picking up when you're like battling people. And like he's definitely been a big part of me learning a lot more battling stuff. And like, he just told me like just add some style to it. And just like, yeah, it's just he's definitely helped my dancing, battling, stuff like that. He's a big part of that.
He's like an open book too. Like he'll tell you whatever. Like if you ask him straight up, like he'll give you his thoughts. And he's very much, but at the same time, he's very much like, this is how I do it. And like you can do it however you would like, but like this is what works for me. So he never prescribes anyone like this is the recipe. You know what I mean? This is the way you ought to do it. It's always like this is everyone's own unique way of going about of expressing themselves, because at the end of the day, you're battling yourself in a battle. You know what I mean? It's not quite the other person. You know what I mean? And he just has a very unique way of looking at it, and a playful way of looking at it. Like he's got that list of shufflers that he wants to battle, not because he wants to show each of them up. It's because he wants to connect with each of them. You know what I mean?
It's like more of like a respect thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're a dope dancer. I think I'm a dope dancer. I want to see what we could bring to the table in the battle.
Yep.
Yeah, just like push each other to the limit type thing. Yeah.
And I'm sure you earned his respect that day. So
yeah, he told me that I did, and he told me this is like his specific words. I wasn't expecting you to go that hard. Like he was surprised at what I brought to the table. So I didn't even think I could bring that kind of stuff to the table, to be honest. But I surprised myself. I surprised him. Like I'm pretty sure I surprised everyone that was watching that.
Yeah.
So everyone that was there pretty much witnessed that. And I thought, to me, it was really special. So that's why I have it pinned on my Instagram.
Yeah. No, it's a good video to pin, because it was really a treat to watch, and it looks like you guys were in your element. You know what I mean?
The only thing I regret from that moment is that no one got all 3 rounds.
Got it.
Like when they were filming it, I wish they got all 3 rounds filmed.
Was it only 2?
Yeah, they only filmed the 2 rounds. It's because no one was expecting it to happen. Only me and him knew about it. So like when he called me out, everyone was super caught off guard. So everyone just was watching.
Dude, that's sick. That's sick. I love when he's around too. He was just here in Denver. Not too long ago.
I wish I was able to come out, but just didn't align.
It's all good, brother. He's gonna be back. He's gonna be back. Like that's every time he comes, I'm gonna speak for him. Every time he comes, he has a very good impression of the city, of our crew, of all the people,
He's just good
in the scene. Yeah, 100%. And he contributes in a very awesome way. So, but dude, we've been at this for a minute. It's been fun talking to you.
Same, bro. I feel like it's been going by super quick.
Yeah, it's been like 20 minutes. But with that, we could talk for hours, but I do want to get to the end of the show, where I asked you 5 questions that I ask all the guests. And so this is the world famous final 5. And so, yeah, there you go. You've been listening.
I have.
Everyone loves that. It was either going to be another side trance, or
every time I listen to that part, I just giggle, bro. It's funny.
It's good. Me and Toph were working on that for like an hour. Like, oh, it needs to be more high pitched, or like, oh, it sounds like at first it was guys saying it, like, oh, but I was like, no, I want fembox. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
but anyway, to the final five. So like I said, 5 questions that I ask all the shufflers that I have on the show, and let's see how your responses line up with the rest.
All right.
So first question: what is your favorite music genre?
You really gotta ask that question, bro.
I really have no clue because you've never been to Dream State.
All right, peace out.
Yeah. Trance,
yeah,
I'm sure.
It's definitely trance.
What's a close second? You know, like what are you leaning towards these days?
Big room techno.
Got it.
I love that shit. It's barely been coming up, but it has to be big room techno. I'm obsessed with it. Not more than trance, but big room techno.
What are some artists?
Hardwell.
Okay.
Maddox,
Aveo?
Yeah, Aveo.
Yeah.
They're fucking insane.
Yeah,
their newest track is fire.
Which one is it?
It's called Dance With Me.
Okay.
It's fire. Umit Ozkan. I feel like a lot of like the old big room artists are slowly starting to transition into big room techno.
Like more grittier sound.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I don't know why. I mean, I was obsessed with big room back in the day, so probably that's why I'm so hooked on big room techno now.
Yeah.
But
it's got with a slight tweak to it, you know.
Yeah, but if it definitely came to like artists, Elon Bluestone's been surpassed.
Yeah.
It's Hardwell.
Okay.
Yeah, number one artist for me is Hardwell. But trance is still my number one favorite genre.
Understood.
Love it.
Understood. All right, next question. What is your favorite place to dance?
My garage. It's just been a safe space for me. Like, no matter how much I move, if I have a garage, that'll always be my place to go dance.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where my best flows come out. And it's like I said before, it's like therapy for me. So like whatever happens in there stays in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like whenever I just dance there, like I could just let it all go in there. So it's more of like, I guess I'm thing in my mind where like I know that I'm gonna have a good session just because it's gonna be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Cheeseman is a close second, but my garage has just been me since I was a kid. So it'll always be in there.
It's probably the garage is like for you know what I mean? And then like Cheeseman is like for you and the homies, like, you know, to connect and things like that. But
like the cars in the garage, but that's my dance.
Yeah. Well, hey, the garages have like that nice, like smooth concrete.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
it's got like that gloss on it or whatever that they seal it with, and it makes it really good.
Yeah,
makes for a really good surface to dance on.
Floors are magical in there. Like, I don't know why I'm just so used to the floors in there. So like, if I get anything less than that, I feel like it's too slippery, or if the opposite, I feel like it's too rough.
Got it.
So like right there's like a perfect balance.
That's like your default. Yeah. Like that's your you know, what you're based off of.
Bro.
Got it. Next question. What is your favorite set, show, or festival attended?
Honestly, like I haven't really gone to as many festivals as most people.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite set. Oh, okay, I got one. It's it happened. When was it? I think it was last year in 2022 in April. It was Elon Bluestone at Summit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about that set. So he played everything I wanted to hear. He played some new stuff. He played some classics. He made some mashups. And like his show was supposed to end at 1 that day. And he played until like 1:45, I think almost 2:00 in the morning, and
exceeded your expectations.
Yeah,
that's always the best.
It.
Yeah, that's always the best.
And he played one of my favorite tracks, "Bigger Than Love" from him, and I lost it. I think I have a video up on my Instagram from that set. It was that song. I was exhausted, and he played it right at the end. Once I heard that song, I gave my phone to someone to record it. I'm like, I'm gonna pop off to this. So yeah, I think it's that set right now.
Got
If
it.
I see Hardwell, though, I'm pretty sure that'll pass it. But
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Summit's a hard place to dance. It's hard to find your pockets there, I feel like.
I honestly, I just went to the back
Yeah.
and like was in the corner,
Like by the bar or whatever.
Yeah, around there.
Mhm.
And it wasn't too packed because people started leaving because they thought the show was ending.
Got
So
it.
like there was a lot
Perfect.
more space. So yeah, I just ended up popping off to that song, and my heart was full. I think me and Mario got a picture with him at the end of that show. It was dope. I think I still have that picture, but I'll show it to you afterwards.
Got it. We'll put it in the show notes. All right. Next question for you. What is your favorite book?
I don't really read too many books. I think the last book I read was in high school, but I could name you like favorite video game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Send the video game.
All right. My favorite video game. It's out of two games, if that's okay.
Yeah.
My first one is Dragon Ball Fighters. It's like Dragon Ball Z fighting style, 3-on-3 type of game. And
Is that with like the square arena or whatever, and they're like getting after it?
it's like, have you ever played like, let's say, like Street Fighter at all?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but like it's like 3-on-3 instead of just 1v1.
Okay.
And
RPG or is it?
It's fighting.
Okay.
Fighting game. So it's kind of like Dragon Ball Z, like super like flashy fighting, and I don't know why I just got super hooked into that game, and the way it hooked me, it was because you have to learn specific controls, and there's always room for you to get better in that. And I remember the first time I played, I was absolute garbage, but it just fascinated me, like all the controls, learning how to do new moves, learning new combos, and like learning combos where like you can take their whole life bar in just one combo. So like the way you have to put time into that, and then once you get into online gaming with that game, you have to go up in ranks. So I always tried labbing in that game, getting better, and I got somewhat high rank, and just I stopped playing it as of recently because I don't know, I got kind of bored because no one plays it anymore.
Yeah, it took time too.
I played that game for a couple years, and like I was hooked on it for a long while. Recently though, I got into a game called Sonic Frontiers.
What is it?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, yeah.
So they released a new game for that not too long ago. I think it was around the time I got surgery. So like I played that game continuously since I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
So I played that game and I got super hooked on it. And it was just like a super like adventurous game, open world. So it's like pretty peaceful, I guess, in a way. Sometimes because of the music that they had. And then like once it got into these boss fights, it just hooked me, bro. Because like the boss fight levels with the music, it had like metalcore, and I was like super hooked on that.
Yeah.
And like I would just like not save the game to replay those boss fights so I could hear the music with it.
Got your Shazam out, like, yo, what is this track?
Yeah, dude, I had to like when I first played that game, I was like, what the fuck is this? And like this song was like insanely hype. So I had to search it up. You know the band Sleeping with Sirens?
Yeah.
Their main singer, they got him to
Kellen
Quinn.
Yeah.
They had him do vocals on the tracks for the boss fights in that game.
No way.
Yeah. And
that's
like,
pretty sick.
So like those songs like have stuck with me since I've had surgery, and like it's kind of weird. There's a story with that too. So,
yeah. You've always liked that band, you know, right? Yeah.
It's one of my favorite bands right now still. But just to like go a little sidetrack a little real quick with those songs. So one of the main song from the first boss fight in that game, it's called like Undefeatable, and like it's like super inspirational, I guess, in some of the verses that they have in that song. So like ever since I heard that track, I've been hooked on it, and it's like helped me get through my healing process with my knee. And like whenever I just hear that song, I like pay close attention to the lyrics, and like I don't know, I guess it just inspires me to like get up and like I guess sometimes go to the gym, sometimes do these things, and like,
you try and embody the message that,
exactly.
you know, and it sounds like, it's priming you for action or to like take the lead, you know?
And it just like helped me through like those hard moments when they come to me whenever I'm having like a bad day or something like that. So if I ever post my Spotify Wrapped at the end of this year and that song's my number one,
don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised. And like, you can't say shit to me. That song is fucking hype. But yeah, I would say those two games are like my favorites right now, and I feel like they can relate towards shuffling.
Yeah, it will help you in your recovery process, and then probably for Dragon Ball Z, like just battle mentality. You know what I mean?
Mentality. Constantly wanting to get better at stuff at the game.
Combos, linking combos together. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I do in shuffling.
Yep. You do the right combo and you knock out the health bar of your opponent, you know, real quick. You know, exactly what you were saying. So no, that's cool, man. It's cool that those had an impact in your shuffling. We don't all need to read books to get, you know, profound knowledge or insights, you know.
I feel like everybody like learns different ways and
100%
do it.
100%. And like gaming is very interactive, you know. So and you're very much engaged with it. Although books can be very engaging as well, 100%. But you know, like you said, different people, you know, get their inspirations, get their knowledge, you know, soak up their like inspirations in different mediums and means. So it's very cool to hear about that. I have one more question for you. So if you were to put any message on the main stage production of like a large festival, think EDC Las Vegas or like Tomorrowland, what would that message say? There'd be tens of thousands of people viewing it.
That's a hard one.
That's why I save it for the last.
So I know you told me to prepare for this one, but the more I try to think about it, the more I blank out. But the thing that always comes to my mind whenever you ask me, when I ever see something like that or read that question is, I guess I'll keep it nice and short. Just be true to you. Don't I think that's it. Like, it's like, it's small, but like it can be so impactful for somebody if they read that, and like if they're like they're not feeling the best, and if they just see something up there like that, just it might be a small sentence, but to you it could mean so much. Yeah.
Especially if someone thinks that they might be on a journey that doesn't belong to them, or they haven't chosen for themselves, or you know,
just. If let's say like there's someone just like seeking others for validation, something like that, and they've been wanting to change that, and they just read that can be so impactful for them, and it could be the driving force for them to start the change. 100%.
And it's like when you're at these festivals and you're, we have at least me, and I think I can speak for a lot of ravers, shufflers, just music enthusiasts. You kind of get put into an emotional state while you're in that environment, and then when you see messages like that, you might be more receptive to them from that point, because you know, and when you're in an emotional state, you usually grab onto information and knowledge a little bit, you know, more readily, because
like it's different.
Because like, I mean, like just talk a little bit of psychology. Like your limbic system is so far into your brain or whatever. It's like in one of the deepest parts of your brain, and that's all your emotion. So it's like when you open that up, and that is like you're very much in your feels, so to speak. You know what I mean? You grip onto a lot of like messaging and just the overall feeling that you get from viewing that message. You're able to kind of dissect it a little bit more than what it just is, those three words. You know what I mean? So that's cool. In that environment, I think that would say a lot, even though it's not a long message. I think it would say a lot, and it would speak for itself. So thank you for sharing that.
I definitely get like those quotes from like Above and Beyond says. They put that little message they like type it out, and they put the message on the screen. Like, it's just like, it's short, but like if like you're in that state and you're vulnerable and you read that, it'll hit you like 100 times different.
Yep.
And like, yeah, definitely get inspiration from them with those types of messages.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever like, someone ever asked me for advice and stuff like that, I'd like go to that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it helps a lot.
Be true to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Be true to yourself. I jacked that up. I said 3 words, not 5.
be true to yourself, or just be true to you.
Be true to you. Got it. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, that was the last question that I had for you. Thank you again for coming on, friend. This has been a lot of fun. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners before we hightail out of here?
Subscribe to the Shuffle Curious podcast.
Dude, my man.
Gotta get the plug in.
It's even better.
You see this? It wasn't placed there by mistake.
Yeah. Every time you've been sipping your water, you're like, trying to angle it towards the camera.
Yeah, I love it, man. I just went like that.
I love it, man.
I mean, if anybody ever wants to reach out to me, my Instagram is _JRM_98. If you ever need tips or anything on shuffling like that, feel free to reach out. I'm not an asshole. If you got any questions, let me know. And I'm free to answer anything and everything.
Definitely understood. And I can vouch for you on that. You are very much an open book. You're very friendly, very approachable. You might be a little bit shy. You might be a little bit timid,
sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Unless I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah. But that also takes time and whatnot.
But here's the thing. I'm not afraid to tell you the truth about if you ask me for the truth, I will give you the truth.
This is also true.
Ask Mario.
You told me my rock sucked until my rock didn't suck. So, and I appreciate you for that.
I didn't tell you it sucked. I said it had to work.
Yeah.
It needed to work.
My interpretation.
And
was
now that shit's clean.
Thank you.
That shit's super clean.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And thank you for the help along the way. You have been a very large part of my shuffle journey. And you came at all the right times when the student was ready, the master appeared, that type of thing. So
man, you're gonna make me cry.
I've got tissues down here. But I just want to thank you, like sincerely. Thank you for everything that you've done for me, just as a friend, as a shuffler, as an enthusiast in this community. It really means a lot. And
it's my pleasure, bro. I like to help. I like teaching people new stuff. Even though I might not be the greatest teacher, I try my best to teach everyone what they want to learn from me. And like, even though sometimes my combos are super complicated,
intricate, and
do it in a spin, bro. That's all I say. But I'm like happy to teach anybody and everybody that wants to learn something from me. I'm not like gatekeeping my moves from anybody. If you think it's cool and want to learn it, I'll teach you. Yeah.
Understood. Well, thank you again for being on, man. Let's get to our nights. What is it, like 9 o'clock? It's almost 10, dude. Yeah. But once again, friend, thank you so much. We'll be session soon, all right?
Yes, sir. In a couple months, I'll be back.
All right, brother. Love you. Take care.
You, bro.
Thank you for listening to the Shuffle Curious podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. We are past the launch, and I'm so appreciative of the support that the show has received. You guys have really stepped up in a huge way, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I know this is a big ask due to the show just starting, and it's very much in its infancy, but any and all support would really be amazing from you guys. So I just wanted to come on and list a couple ways that you guys can help out the podcast moving forward. So first and foremost, subscribing to the YouTube channel would be a huge help. Among, also sharing and following the show on other social media platforms, such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but in particular, YouTube will really help increase the visibility of the show, and it can help to reach a wider audience as well. In addition to this, leaving a review on anywhere where podcasts are distributed, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, can really leave a positive impression on new listeners, and it will help them discover the podcast more readily. Also, engaging with the podcast, so leaving comments, participating in social media discussions, and just anything that would really help build a community around the podcast would be of great assistance. And please feel free, DM me my personal Instagram @PattyCreates, or the show's Instagram @the Shuffle Curious Podcast, with the spaces being underscores. I would love to hear any feedback, any ideas, any discourse around the show. It would be an honor to hear you guys out and implement some of the ideas and the feedback that you guys have for me. Also, donating to the podcast directly or purchasing a Shuffle Curious shirt would help out a lot. There's a lot of time, there's a lot of energy, and unfortunately money that goes into the podcast, and it will continue to go into the podcast. So let's just get one thing straight here. It's really been a complete joy doing the show, and no matter how much or how little monetary assistance the show receives, we'll still be performing the mission of bringing the Shuffle community together. But with a little bit of help, I'll be able to travel more for these interviews, buy better equipment, be able to compensate all the amazing people who have made the show a reality and have volunteered their time, things of that nature. So buying a shirt would be much more than buying a shirt. And I don't know if you guys realize, but if I ever saw someone at a festival wearing a Shuffle Curious podcast shirt, you would be my best friend in a huge way. I'd love to see it, and I'd give you a big bear hug. So you can purchase these shirts on the Instagram bio of the show, also the show's website, and then I'll have links in the show notes as well. As for the donation, just please, send me a DM if you feel inclined to donate to the show. I will definitely entertain that, and if you're so inclined, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm not going to create a button for donating to the show or a GoFundMe or anything like that. It would just be a conversation between you and I. So, and I thank you for that consideration. But lastly, you guys have supported the show just by listening. Also listening to this whole outro, that's awesome. You guys rule for doing that. And I just cannot understate my appreciation for all of you guys, for being a part of this crazy ride that it's been so far. So without further ado, I wanted to get on. I'll give you guys a couple of ways that you can support. You can run with as many or as little of them as you would like, but I thank you, regardless, for your listenership and support. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Please get out there and dance, stay curious, and I will see you in the next episode, friend.